I'm here just off of Bull Creek. Wonderful little spot on the greenbelt. There's some water nearby here. Beautiful little shaded spot. There was a red dragonfly circling overhead, a meaty boy. So I knew I was in the right place as I start to embody more of a warrior south attitude. Red fire, bare feet too. Very helpful. It's one of the greatest things you can do, honestly. In terms of, see, yeah, and now they're mating. Check that shit out. You want to talk about some synchronicity? You're like, dragonflies mating, Michael? That doesn't seem like much of a synchronicity to me. Dragonflies fuck all the time. Sure. But it wasn't when I got here. And then I mentioned it, and then it started copulating. Rather vacuously, I might add. But let that be a lesson for all of us, walking bare feet more. I'm kind of renowned in some circles for being able to walk on rough terrain. You don't do that overnight, just like with anything else. It's very simple, you know how to acclimate yourself to it. You do what you can do, and then you back the fuck off. That's how I did it. Carry a pair of fucking sandals with you, or some tennis shoes or whatever. Walk around town lake barefoot until your feet hurt. Then put your shoes on. Do that for a couple months, bam. Work your way up, make it harder, go to rougher terrain, same thing. Carry a pair of sandals with you. Throw them on there when your feet hurt. Don't overextend yourself, don't injure yourself. Key to barefoot walking is to have hard soles and soft feet. Skin needs to be tough and keratinized, but your feet need to be relaxed, not tight. And that's usually what shoes will do to you. Just make your feet tighter than a bureaucrat's asshole. I didn't ask to embody the trickster archetype. I resisted it for so long. Nobody can tell what the fuck I'm saying. Nobody can tell when I'm being sarcastic. But you just kind of have to learn to accept and love about yourself and be like, well, that's honestly kind of fucking hilarious on some cosmic level. But vis-a-vis this hat, Kennedy 24 hat, I don't think people react to me much because I'm an imposing white male or something like that. I don't know. But I get some faces from it at least, you know. I mean, Kennedy's kind of a figure right now, and that's the funny thing, you know, is it's like, oh, you're wearing a Kennedy hat, you must be a Kennedy supporter, you must be MAGA, you must be Maha. And by the way, all of us should be Maha. All of us should be in favor of making America healthy again. But what is that gonna take, huh? Is it gonna take fucking removing sodas and sugary shit from food stamps? Or is it going to require a wholesale reevaluation of our values and modus operandi? Are we going to start valuing stillness and rest? Or are we just going to value ever climbing, quote unquote, progress, ever exponential progress and production and innovation and whatever the fuck that means? Don't get me wrong, man. I ain't against innovation. Innovation's great, but rest and regression, in some sense, is necessary to progression. And we just focus on the one side of things in this culture. So, you know, I'm definitely not MAGA. I'm not a make America great again. Fuck those people. Fuck anybody that still believes in any, you know, any integrity in our political process. You guys are, I'm sorry, but you're off the fucking mark. And that's what Kennedy Shahanahan, I think is her name, her last name. Yeah, that was the last vestige for me. That was the last time I had faith in our political system, our democracy. Democracy. Now that's fucking hilarious. So that's why I keep it around, and that's why I wear it. It's not because I give a shit about Kennedy or think he's a great guy. He seems just as ensnared as the rest of those people, pushing some narrative that he doesn't believe in, and I think he knows, you know. There's a part of me that wants to think, oh, you know, maybe he's like really like just like doing the deep cover, you know. And he's gonna do something he's collecting evidence and but he's been deep in that establishment for a long time. I can't say what he's doing, you know, and that's the kind of the value of the trickster archetype, is that you can never really tell what he's doing, what she's doing. Something that seems like it's specifically there to impede you is actually your greatest liberation. And yeah, it ain't always pretty. Sometimes it's genocide. Sometimes it's systemic racism and oppression for centuries. And you can't be one-sided about it, you know. There's always been people within the power structures that have wanted to do good, but they don't make it very far, and if they do, they get killed. Just ask Martin Luther King Jr., Frank Hampton, Malcolm X, JFK, RFK Sr., I believe, right? I don't know. Ask that guy at OpenAI that committed suicide right after he got some food and said, "I love you, Mom and Dad, I never want to leave this earth." He didn't actually say that, but might as well have said that. To the dozens of journalists and shit that have been trying to call shit out. But that's all there for us, you know. It could be a sign that the universe is really fucked up, or it could be a sign that the universe is working exactly as it's supposed to, you know. I'm holding these kind of two poles with regards to our current situation. One, that everything has gone completely wrong. We are not where we're supposed to be. And our society is a result of our collective ignorance and distancing ourselves away from the sacred. And B, kind of vis-a-vis Maharaji Ram Dass's teacher. That, don't you see that it's all perfect? And what does that mean, right? What does it mean for all to be perfect? What do you mean? There's genocide. There's people starving. There's people that are suffering immensely in ways that you or I could not really imagine. And they're pretty powerless to do anything about it. They're being actively oppressed. They're having no recourse to water, to food, being shot at. And by the way, Gaza is not the only one. It's one of maybe 7 events like it, but it's the one that everybody's focused on, because that's where they want you to be focused. Don't worry about the Uyghurs in China. Don't worry about the Rohingya in Myanmar. Don't worry about the Umbalums in the Congo. Which ones of those are real? Huh? Can you know? Have you looked it up? Uyghurs, real. Rohingya, real. Umbalums, no. I made them up. They don't exist. But for a second there, you racist fucks actually thought that the Umbalums were a tribe in Africa. uh, and that's just a little sliver. There's more than that. Tunes of millions of people. You don't hear about them. Just wait until it becomes, the entire world's lower class. And the only reason a lower class needs to exist is in order to entertain and please the ruling class as servants and sex slaves. Yeah, that's a real nice one, isn't it? And that's why I want to present you with it, because that's one of the options available to us. That's where this little genocide is heading. You think this is rough? You fuckers haven't seen anything yet. Nothing. It's gonna be like World War I to people in 1914. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? I cannot believe this happened. What is that for us? A collective that has experienced 2 world wars. The second of which was even more grisly than the first, where they were sending waves of men to get chopped up by machine gun fire, artillery fire, and fucking chlorine gas. A war so violent that everyone got together and was like, yo, we need to wage war differently. We can't do any of that shit anymore. We can't have fucking 3-sided knives and use chemical weapons, and there's got to be medics and shit that you don't shoot at. It's just kind of civility over things, right? So that was the Geneva Convention, and then we did additional shit after World War II, known as the Nuremberg Codes and the Nuremberg Trials, right? That's where we get all of our codes of medical ethics, because the Nazis and the Japanese were doing some fucked up shit. Sewing people together, vivisecting pregnant women and looking at their fetuses while they were alive, breathing and anesthetized. Yeah, imagine that one. Imagine your fucking belly being cut open, your unborn fetus screaming while you're tied down, and there's men all looking at you like you're some fucking piece of meat. Sorry, ladies, I know you know that one real well. You need to know the terrible future if you want to create the beautiful one. And it's not that bad. It's only the elimination of your own cowardice. And if you get overwhelmed by that, then buckle the fuck up, dude. Because it's going to get way worse. You might as well confront it and face it now. Use that energy to become something else. To become someone that doesn't fit into the society, that doesn't serve a role in this society. Because this society is frankly built upon a lot of illusions. It's illusion upon illusion upon illusion upon illusion, with understandable and rather obvious results. Genocide, frankly, just rampant stupidity. Ignorance. And the flip side of that is that you can also start to imagine what the beautiful future might look like, because if you imagine the terrible future, it starts to shake loose that illusion of that you have of the future. What future are we all working towards? The future that we were sold on was, build yourself financial independence and security. Do work that it might not bring your soul alive, but it brings home the bacon, so to speak. Which was good enough for mom and pop and me, mom, and P-Paul. But that ain't it for us, folks. No, 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 no. All that work that you're doing is creating the future you do not want to live in. And I'm not speaking to everybody, obviously. There are those who are trying to weave something different, but it's difficult. And in my own attempts to weave something different, I've probably also instigated that call and furthered the globalist mission, producing content and shit that just fills your feed, keeps your attention, and then you go on about your day. Well, that's why I'm trying to, speak a little bit more from the heart. Come out to these places again, these places where I have found refuge. Where I find the truth of my spirit. And it's nothing fancy. It's not some fucking mountain in Colorado. It's not some redwood forest in California. It's the fucking Texas Hill Country. Stagnant ass water over there. You drank it, you'd be shitting blood for 2 weeks. Fucking overpass right there. Bare feet here, rocks killing me, the heat just breaking my feet open because I have kept them in shoes for so long. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of all the illusions that we put up. I'm struggling, man. Fuck. And I'm not over the edge, but I'm definitely peering over it. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. That's a really deep well. There's all sorts of spikes and scorpions and snakes at the bottom. But that's where you gotta plunge into, man. It ain't all that bad, it's just psychic. You're not actually physically going to be eaten alive by snakes and scorpions, although, shit, you might, if things keep going how they are, huh? That's how it fucking works, y'all. If it's not worked out in here internally, it's going to be externalized out here in the real world. Look at what the fucking Israelis are doing. Anybody here seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Spoiler fucking alert, the big ass genocide that happens in the old times in the old country is a blood ritual meant to create immortality for a withering entity. It's exactly what's happening in Gaza. It's hard to say what's happening in the other ones because there's so little information that comes out of them. It's probably something similar. It's power and it's elimination. Kill the other, kill the shadow, externalized. It's going to come back. There'll always be someone new to project the shadow on. And guess what? It's probably going to be you. It's probably going to be us. At some point. Those of us that remain free and grow out our hair and our beards long, and it might be a little smelly, and walk barefoot and dance underneath the full moon, and really, whatever phase of the moon, we just love dancing under the moon. You ever dance under the moon? It's fucking electrifying. Especially a bit of mushrooms in there. Oh boy, oh baby. And some of us are in deep too, of course. We have to make decisions about what we're going to do about that. The big trap here is financial. Everybody's in debt. People that took out student loans, myself included. It's real bad, y'all. Lots of them. Ooh. Could have bought a house with that money. Oh well. Oh, and I got $130,000 of scholarship too. Huh. How fucked up is that? But it doesn't take much. It's hard because I don't want this to be just another sale, you know, another product that's pushing you towards complacency. So I hope this is a dialectic, a speech, something that drives you towards greater action. And yes, as a living, I do try to help steward people through these cycles to become who they really are, to remember their ancestral wholeness and their ancient power, so that we don't have to be somebody else's externalized shadow. And so that we can come into harmony with Mother Earth and create wonders for all kinds of people, for everyone, every single person. You know, we have this whole thing about like ableism in here. It's like, what if we could give disabled people the ability to be more enabled? I'm sure many of them would appreciate that. Would you? Those who are, you know, that are incapacitated in your body, who are, and I'm not doing this to be a dick, but those who the use of their physical body is different, is hampered, and you know, there's a spiritual quest in that too. But what if we could give people that choice and have them go on a different experience? Choice. That's the important thing. Agency. And imagine if we, the so-called abled, could do things that we can't even imagine. Technology that doesn't hamper your strength, that doesn't replace your strength, but that works with and grows both of them. The technology and your innate capacities. How fucking strong would we be if we had the chance to, you know, fly? And I don't mean in a fucking airplane, I mean like a bird. You don't imagine that? That's not everything that everybody wants to do when they have a lucid dream for the first time, is fly like a fucking bird. We could make that shit happen. And we could do it cleanly. And disabled people could be abled, or they could choose to be abled. They could choose to be able. And differently abled, I appreciate that one. I mean, they're obviously able in different ways. You can't cover the full spectrum of everybody in one speech. But you ask a guy in a wheelchair if he'd like to walk and not be able to use a wheelchair, my guess is that 9 out of 10 of them are going to say, fuck yeah. And we have the capacity to create that for everyone, and not just for the fucking privileged, and not just for the rich, and not just for people who can afford it. We can make affording things a thing of the fucking past, dude. Not through socialism, not through capitalism, not through but through following what is already inherent in our being. We don't need, yes, we need systems, and we need systems that are soul realized and soul rooted. That's what the ancients knew. That's what they tried to do. But humanity was too, you know, enamored of its own power and its own logic and its own reasoning to be able to do this shit without the help of the gods. And I believe that served a purpose, and I believe that that is divinely orchestrated in some way. But it's time to wake up. It's time to stop living that dream. And start building the one that we actually want to live in.